Hello and Assalamu alaikum. My name is Dr. Rizwan Qureshi and today I'm going to talk about a topic which is very close to every doctor's heart. It is about having exams and having a family life. I remember when we were medical students, we had only one job to do at that time: study, come home, relax and study some more and pass our exam. Those times are gone now. Often we would get married early, especially if you're coming from subcontinent and moving overseas. And now we have an added responsibility of not only doing the professional development by doing exams, doing work, but also juggling the family commitments of young family. When I was going through the process of my own fellowship exam, I talked to one of my consultants that please tell me, I'm really trying to come to terms with how to balance my family time and my exam time. And he said, I'll tell you about my example. I went to my wife and told her that, look, let me study for 6 months period. After this 6 month of hard period, I would finish my fellowship exam, I will be a consultant, and our lives together would be much, much better. Fortunately for him, he passed the exam, but unlucky, his marriage did not last. It is a fine balance. It's not a sprint run. Now, first and foremost, I think organization, planning and strategy is very important. Number one step is to plan your exam ahead. Plan a date which is 3 months, 6 months time ahead, depending on your preparation, so that you're not completely, worried and anxious about, oh, I have to meet all of the study by this deadline. Give yourself plenty of time so that you're well prepared, well rehearsed, you've done your revision at least 2 or 3 times for that date to be a comfortable date for you to sit an exam with your family commitments. The other thing is, when it comes to study, please remember you need to study in blocks. I remember this one time we were sitting all together in fellowship group and we were all sort of complaining that, oh, I've got this family life, their family commitments, their parties, their events and, school, children problem. But a few of the other colleagues were single. They did not have any family commitments. And, I said to them, what's your reason to not being able to study? And they did not have any reason. And I was just completely taken aback that why, being single, you would not still be able to put in that hours. Plus, on top of that, when the fellowship exam results came, some of the better ones or high achiever ones had the family. They were husband, they were mothers who had young families, bunch of kids, and then they achieved the highest scores in the exams. So make the most of the time which is available to you. You may have an early morning block, like say for instance from 5 to 7 o'clock. After that, you might like to do some domestic chores, dropping kids off to school or whatever. And then you may have an evening block for another couple of hours in which you'd study. Distributing your time and being more productive in those time slots, whatever works for you, is far better than having a more mundane and prolonged, unmotivated hours sitting in a library and just getting bored. Having small bursts of study are much, much more productive. And also from that point of view, I would encourage you to make a group of like-minded people who've got family commitments like you. And what will happen is, by having a group study, you will actually cover more ground in that small duration of time than you would do by a singular study, like by studying alone. So you can go through a topic, but don't go through a topic like as, a discussion. It should be a quizzing method. Like, we'll prepare this topic in our own time and then we'll quiz each other, question each other, so that we are not missing any point. And in that way, we'll cover the things in which we lack and you'll cover the things in which you lack. The value of passive learning. Now, this method really helped me a lot. When I was driving to work, I would listen to my notes that I'd record while studying. So when I'm trying to memorize something, I'll keep on speaking, and then I'll record that on my mobile phone. And whilst going in a car, I'll listen to that same recording. Even if you don't get time for recording, if I've memorized certain topic early in the morning, I'll just think about that topic on my drive to work. So that topic is now revised. Passive learning is really very important. You can also listen to some of the podcasts, but just be careful here because some of the podcasts are based on the research and publication and may not cover the exam content. You'd listen to podcasts which are more exam relevant. Now, what are the responsibilities of your spouse? It might be a husband or it might be a wife. They might also be working or not working. when you're doing an exam, what are their responsibilities, be it finances or domestic chores. So they can take the responsibility of dropping and picking up the kids from school. They can take the responsibility of paying more bills or more financial expenses from you, because you might be working part-time or you might be working less, or you may have more expenses, you know, in terms of exam fees, course fee. Some of the exams, you know, you may have done 2 or 3 times, and they can be very expensive, especially in countries like Australia, UK, or even in the US. So your partner may like to support you during that financial tough period. And I think that really gels you in as a family as well, because when you work together as a team in which your partner is supporting you financially, emotionally, domestically, your chances of success are much, much better. So some people ask me that how can you balance the family entertainment times? And I think those are the best time to really boost up your morale. Make sure that your study duration is peppered with frequent breaks in which you're taking out your kids for a walk, something as simple as that, or attending some family event at least once a fortnight, so that your family don't feel left out, that you're completely engaged. Exam will happen when it will happen. You may not pass that exam despite your best intention and preparation, but you need to make sure that your family needs are at least met at the bare minimum level. So taking them out would not only help them psychologically in their happiness, but would also help you get recharged exam when you're sitting back at your study. Finally, I'd like to say planning is everything. Whenever you're sitting for an exam, plan it way in advance. Make sure that your partner, husband or wife, is aware that you've got a deadline to meet, which might be 3 months away, 6 months away, or a year away. And during that process, during a very hard study process in which you're trying to juggle your work and your study as well, you need support. You need support in finances, you need support in domestic work, you need support emotionally as well at some times. And by supporting each other, you're going to have a better outcome and a better result from your exams point of view. But if your partner is not really supporting you, they're not really helping you out, in fact they are constantly, you know, questioning you what you're doing, and this is something which is not very important or it doesn't really matter, then it's going to have a long-term adversity on your own mental well-being. If you don't pass the exam, you'll blame them. They will say, I told you so. So just be mindful, support your partners regardless of the outcome of the exam, pass or fail, it doesn't matter, but support your partner through the journey of the exam. It's very important for their mental well-being and professional development. And by being a support at that time, you can, if nothing at all, you'll strengthen your own relationship and family well-being of your children as well. So look after yourself, take care of each other, especially your spouses and your family members. And I'd like to end this conversation on a beautiful poetry from an Urdu shairi as usual. कोशिश भी कर उम्मीद भी रख रास्ता भी चुन, कोशिश भी कर उम्मीद भी रख रास्ता भी चुन, फिर उसके बाद थोड़ा सा मुक़द्दर तलाश कर. अपना ख्याल रखिएगा. Look after yourself. खुदा हाफिज़.